unbelievable performance from Bryce Cotton. Bryce for three, 50 for Bryce Cotton. And all eyes on Bryce Cotton to see whether he can reach 60 in these closing seconds. Truly incredible from the little master. He sides his way inside and lays it up. He sets an all-time Wildcats record with 59. The all-time modern 40-minute era record with 59. And he further cements his legacy. And it is a real privilege to be witness to this kind of performance.
Another week, another record-breaking scoring outburst. This time a perhaps not needed reminder, but a reminder nonetheless from a four-time NBL MVP that he is still that guy. This is Nothing But Net Aussie Hoops presented by Amy. Bryce Cotton, he'll be on the agenda with Olgun Uluc. Is he staying in the league next year? Geez, we bloody hope he is. Ryan Broekhoff, he's going to be here to help me navigate the logjam race for the top six. And it's not all good news. Adelaide star DJ Vasiljevic, he'll be with us. He's got a hamstring injury. Naturally, he's got the latest on when he'll be back. It's been a rough few weeks for the 36ers, but let's waste no further time. NBL News Headlines is where we start this show every single week, and when we do that, we bring in our resident expert, Ryan Broekhoff, the former Dallas Maverick, the former Olympian, and a better bloke than both me and Olgun Uluc from ESPN.com.au. Hey, Olgs, beautiful jacket, by the way. Let's start with Bryce Cotton and first of all, that 59-point performance, but more importantly right now, is he going to be here to try and break that record in NBL 26? We know he's out of contract. Where does it stand?
So, Kane, what I'm told is that Bryce Cotton sat down with the Perth Wildcats ownership at the end of September to discuss his future. Obviously, the Wildcats are very keen to put pen to paper. Cotton walked away from that meeting without committing to anything. Now, you guys, what happened just prior to that meeting at the end of September? Well, John Riley signed a 3-year extension to remain the head coach of the franchise. Now, that was an inflection point for two reasons. Cotton didn't have any input in that decision. And from what I understand, he didn't know that Riley had signed that extension until the day it was announced. It is not a secret that the relationship between Cotton and Riley is purely professional. So that is a non-trivial thing that I think is worth pointing out. That's number one. Number two is that with that decision, the Wildcats sort of signaled that they're willing to make decisions notwithstanding a commitment from Cotton. Now, the feeling remains, and Cotton has sort of signaled this as well, that he probably won't do anything this season. It doesn't feel like an extension will be agreed to or signed this season. From what I understand, he will be open to his options come the end of the season. And the obvious one to keep a really close eye on are the Chiba Jets. That is a team that is coached by Trevor Gleeson. John Mooney is on that roster. Those are two people who are very familiar to Bryce Cotton, and they have a lot of money to spend. And you have to think about a Bryce Cotton who is going to be entering his 33rd birthday next year. When you approach your mid-30s, you probably want to maximize your earning potential. So the Chiba Jets are one to look at. But as of now, it doesn't feel like Bryce Cotton's going to put pen to paper on extension this season. We have to wait until after the season.
Hey, Ryan, we discussed this on one of the first episodes of this show this season. So first of all, the price tag has not gone down based on what we saw on the weekend. But the second part of this, and this isn't anti-John Riley, but why would you extend him when he didn't need to be extended when you haven't got the signature of the player that has been the franchise for such a long time now? This all just seems so bizarre. And surely if you're the Wildcats, you want to keep this guy on the roster.
You'd think so. You'd think Bryce would be priority number one, four-time MVP, and he reminded us just how good he is over the weekend. And obviously with Riley, there was, the start of last season was rough. There was talks about getting rid of him. Everything came good. And then similar sort of thing this year with Perth being up and down. So to extend him so early without really needing to was a surprise decision, but they've kind of put their eggs in that basket. They're going to go with really going forward, and maybe they're just hoping that the relationship between the two improves over the course of the season, and they can get an extension done. But as Olgun was saying, once you get a little bit older and the body starts to slow down, sometimes it is about maximizing your potential earnings and trying to make the most you can in this finite amount of time that we have playing basketball.
Yeah, and we must say that normally in the NBL, it's not so much an import that would dictate decisions you make, but certainly as it stands right now, again, no disrespect to John Riley, but he's not Trevor Gleeson, who has the titles in the bag. He's not Dean Vickerman, so you would think Bryce Cotton would have some say in the decision-making for this team. Speaking about guys that have won titles, that can get buckets, Chris Goulding, he's been on a tear, 42 three-point makes over his last 6 games, a couple FIBA games included in that, but now it looks like he's going to be on the shelf for a while. What does this injury look like for Goulding?
So this is officially listed as a 2-week absence for Chris Goulding with that calf injury. The calf injury is seemingly the only thing that can stop this month-long heater from Chris Goulding. The feeling, though, is that this may be a little bit longer. This is a 36-year-old Chris Goulding. We've seen over the past few seasons some of the soft tissue stuff that he's dealt with, particularly at the end of seasons. That's something that this United team definitely wants to avoid. It's why they've given more minutes to Flynn Cameron and Tanner Krebs over the course of the season, because they want to contain Chris Goulding's body. So that 2-week absence, I think that's a definite. It wouldn't surprise me if this stretches out to 3 or 4 weeks. And then the added thing on top of that is it doesn't look like Ian Clark is 100% healthy going into this round. He's dealing with a hip complaint. So that's 2 starter level guys down for United. Chris Goulding's obviously the main one. He's the hottest player in the NBL right now outside of Bryce Cotton.
Hey, Ryan, so I was going to go in a different direction, but that last little nugget is interesting from Olgun. So Goulding has 53 three-point makes in the season. This United team only has 2 other guys with 20+. One of them is Ian Clark. The other one is Flynn Cameron. Do you have any concerns about the offense of this team?
Not really. I feel like they're pretty deep, and Flynn Cameron, when he's been given minutes, has really produced. He's obviously a very different player to Chris and how he scores the ball. He's a big physical guard who can get to the rim, can shoot the 3. I don't think there's too many players in the league that can shoot it like Chris, and especially over the last month, whether it's in the NBL, whether it's playing for Australia, he's been on an all-time heater. So he will be missed with United. They just have another body. He comes in, they play the role. Having banked some wins already early in the season probably gives them a little bit of cushion not to have to rush him back. They're sitting in first place. They're comfortable. They're settled. They got Jack White back. They'll be fine, and they'll be able to sort of survive the next few weeks waiting for him and give him enough time with his aging body that does seem to, get us all towards the end where those little niggles sort of hang around. So make sure that he's back 100% ready to go, because he is so important to them going forward and into the finals and playoffs and everything going towards the end of the season. That take a little bit of time now. Hopefully that shooting arm doesn't cool down too much and he can come back firing.
Yeah, Ryan, I didn't want to ask you about the injuries. That's where I was going originally, but you stick around because we still need plenty more from you on this show. Olgun, we asked you to bring something strong to the table. That was excellent work from you. Thank you very much. All right, we got more.
Thank you.
On Bryce Cotton coming up. Yes, thank you, Olgun. 59 points. Ryan Broekhoff is going to break it down for us coming up next. Nothing but net Aussie Hoops presented by Amy continues, and it was a performance that had the whole entire Australian basketball community talking. Just some of the sample of tweets from Australia, but I should also say right across the globe. Bryce Cotton, 59 points on 28 shots. He had 7 triples. He got to the free throw line 17 times as well. It was an absolutely absurd, record-breaking performance from a guy that has multiple MVPs, multiple scoring titles. He's done it all in this league as Ryan Broekhoff, our own Olympian, is still here as well. So you've been in a situation where you've obviously watched him do it year on year on year. You've been on the floor against him. When you see Bryce Cotton heating up and he's got 20 points in the first quarter, what is the opposition talking about? What are they trying to do? Is there anything you can do?
They better call timeout really quickly and change up the coverages completely. Bryce is one of the few players in the NBL that can beat you by himself. Someone like Chris Goulding as well can turn a game in a blink of an eye, but once he's had 20 in the first, you think, go send a double, go send 2 people to him. New Zealand were obviously in a dropped coverage at times, and he's coming off the pick and roll with just space to work. It's not the best way to guard Bryce, and he was just able to get into the lane, get easy buckets, find the mid-range, create space, get out in transition. He scored in every way you could think of, and I didn't see a heap of changes from New Zealand to kind of curb it. So, if that was me, just go double him, make someone else beat you from Perth, because he is special.
Yeah, I look forward to later on in the show talking to DJ Vasiljevic about all these high-scoring performances as well. So that's coming up on the show a little bit later. But he's now leading the league in scoring, 22.8 points per game, which somehow feels like it kind of snuck up on us, but he's missed 5 games. You've got some of the other stars, Montrezl Harrell, Jack White's missed some time, Chris Golding now. Surely he's right back in the mix here to pick up MVP number 5.
Yeah, he has to be after that performance. And yeah, it almost is surprising he's back to leading the league, which he's done for numerous years, most of his career, I think, here in the NBL. So it's just a testament to how good he's been for a long time and how good he can be on any given night, that he is still the best player in this league. As far as MVP, he'd be right back up there. I really love PJC's game against Perth. He just ran into the buzzsaw that was Bryce Cotton with his 59 points. But between those two and probably Montrez when he comes back, they're probably the 3 leading candidates at the moment. And we'll wait and see once everyone's back playing and how the rest of the season goes. But that performance is just special.
Well, history tells us if PJC wants to win it, New Zealand are going to have to keep winning games. So they lost 2 on the weekend, 1 to Illawarra, 1 in that game to the Perth Wildcats, and they gave up 232 combined points. Now, PJC averaged 27 himself on 61% from the field. He can't do much else. But if this team is not going to defend in the first iteration of the Taco Fall era, they're going to be one of the teams we're looking at. Are they going to slip out of the top 6?
Yeah, it's definitely a concern. And, we kind of raised it last week. Does this change? How does it impact their style of play and what they're doing and their momentum that they built? So, not that I thought Tucker was bad. I thought in his minutes he was effective. He blocked shots. Drops coverage is not going to work very well. So they're going to have to figure something else out. And unfortunately, he's got an injury now. But you can't speak highly enough of PJC. He's been carrying the load offensively. He's creating. I think he had 34 and 10 against Perth, and it was just he ran into Bryce Cotton who had 59. But they're going to have to find some help. And now with Taco out, they're very small. It's basically up to Sam Menenga to carry the inside and to be the rock at the 5 position. So they're going to have to get creative, come up with some new lineups, maybe change the style of play a little bit to kind of factor into that while they try and get healthy.
Yeah, and Melbourne and Sydney coming up this weekend. So from 7-3, all of a sudden they're starting to find themselves under a little bit of pressure, the New Zealand Breakers. Ryan, always great to see you, my friend. Great insight as always. All right, let's take a refresher on the NBL standings. There is Perth and New Zealand in that middle pack, Tasmania and Southeast Melbourne. They continue to bang on the door of the top 6. Slow starts for both, but a title-winning coach and a new head coach in the league, Scotty Roth and Josh King, they are thinking play-in tournament. Now, speaking of banging on the door, I reference our team of stars out the back weekly because this show would not happen without them. But they're constantly banging on my door, asking about different plays. Could they fit this week? Does this sound effect work? No, it's not about the news headlines or record-breaking scoring. It's about when hoops turn to oops, presented by Amy.
In a grind in this term. 4 seconds on the shot clock for Detch. Oh, Magnay. Trouble underneath. Can't collect it. Oh, Detch has missed. The bunny of all bunnies.
An unnecessary turnover.
Opportunity for Cairns. Armstrong drives.
Denied.
The basket was his and Taron Armstrong misses a jam.
Pride in his butt's hurting.
The week get devoured, get it every hour. I'm a living legend, give me my flowers.
DJ, 7 points already. Make that 10.
That's gorgeous.
DJ has said, I see what you do, Chris Golding. Now it's my turn.
Get it every hour. I'm a living legend, give me my flowers.
He's a flamethrower. You have to know where he is.
Money in the power, money in the power, money in the power.
That is one of our favourites here on Nothing But Net, Aussie Hoops, presented by Amy, DJ Vasiljevic. It's great to see you, mate. I actually haven't seen you in person since the NBA Finals about 2 years ago. You were walking around like the king of Miami, signing autographs, taking photos. It's great to see you, my friend.
Good to see you too. It seems like a decade ago, doesn't it, Kane? We were at the finals, messing around, meeting a lot of people. So it's good to see you.
Yeah, it was a great time. And I wish it was a better time to speak to you than right now, but maybe for the timing of this chat, it does make sense. So the hamstring injury, what can you tell us about when this occurred on the weekend against Tasmania, or if perhaps you were carrying something into the game?
No, I felt a little niggle throughout the Boomers campaign when we were at the qualifiers, but again, I think I've just slightly torn it a bit in that first quarter. Don't know when. There was multiple times where I pulled up a bit sore, so just going to have to sit out and rest a little bit. We'll miss definitely this weekend's games, but hopefully I can be back next weekend.
So here's where I don't think you guys and girls that play the game at a professional level get enough credit. You guys are bloody tough, and I'm sitting at home watching this game. And I can see that you're putting the heat pack on, you're on and off the floor, and I'm like, please, man, just chill out. I know that you're missing players, but I can't have this be a serious injury. So what are the conversations with the medical staff during that time, and what are you feeling? Because it feels to me there had to be some risk that there was going to be significant damage or further damage.
It's just, I think the adrenaline kind of saved me a little bit. As professional athletes, we run on adrenaline, so we don't feel it till like 2 hours after the game. So I mean, the medical staff was good with me. They kept asking how I felt, and I actually did feel pretty good. I didn't play that great. I think it started to take a toll throughout the game, but not having Kendrick Davis and Montrezl Harrell and being the skipper of this team, I couldn't let this team down. Even though we didn't get the win, I still had to try and do everything possible to try, make that possible.
No, credit to you for that, for sure, mate. And obviously Kendrick comes back this week, Montrez, and another 2 games there. And I'm not sure how much they've been around the team the last week or so, but how would you assess the mood of the team? A lot of young guys got minutes on the weekend, but it feels like it's been a little bit of a tumultuous period now with your injury after a run where it looked like you guys were ready to take that step and challenge the top of the ladder.
Yeah, I think we've hit a hurdle a little bit, obviously with the suspensions to KD and Trez, and then obviously now me being out. But again, this gives the opportunity for young guys to step in. Keanu Rasmussen played one hell of a game. Ben Gristic gave us unreal minutes. So it just gives these young guys that opportunity to kind of come in and do what they can do, because we see it at practice every day. So they'll be big for us come this weekend and towards the back end of the season.
So we can see here, and I know what you're probably going to say, DJ. The team wants to move on, everyone's moving on, and you're looking forward. But we just saw again that incident from a couple of weeks back. And the thing that has frustrated me throughout this is that I still don't feel like anyone knows what actually went down and what happened. You were right in the middle there. This was a shocking incident. What do you recall in the moment and what was going down?
I just recall, obviously, Trez, Shea Ili, and Rob Lowe having a go at it a little bit, and then it kind of trickled over to the bench. There was a few of us in a huddle with Mike, because obviously that was start of early fourth quarter, so we kind of had to regroup and keep playing. And then all of a sudden I see my GM, Matt Weston, get pushed, and obviously I try to jump in, then I get pushed. So again, you don't want to see that in the game of basketball or any sport, really. Like, you pay good money for those seats. Enjoy the game. Yeah, you can bicker and banter with the players and whatnot. Like, I've had it. I had it when I was in Tasmania. Got the middle finger multiple times when I hit the big shot. So you can do stuff like that. Just don't take it too far. And I guess there was like racial slurs towards Trez and KD, which again, not necessary in the game of basketball.
Yeah. So do you guys sit down now and obviously when they come back to the team, I think everyone sees that offensively, this is a team that can challenge with everyone. And I would say Montrez from the outside. I don't know him personally at all. He seems like a guy that will use anything to motivate him. So do you completely put it beside you, or do you say, okay, this is a motivation point. This is a point in our season where we can now go on a run down the stretch?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, KD's still here. Trez gets back over the weekend, so they'll be all ready to lock and loaded to go. And obviously, we've got 17 games left. We play Melbourne United January 4th, and they marked us for the shootout event. So you best believe when they come to town, there's going to be some fire in the belly, for not from us only, but from our fans too. So I think I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be one hell of a finish to the end of the year. And yeah, well, let's see how it all goes.
Hey, what happened to the good old days, DJ, of players having a cramp and fans can just help them out on the sidelines and get in trouble for that? That was obviously the other incident that you were a part of, which was pretty lighthearted. And still, the fan stuff is real, as you discussed. I was going to ask about that Summerfest a little bit later on, but more in relation to where this defense is at as a total group on the season. You have so much potency on the offensive end. Do you think that the defense is a problem, or you can continue to outscore teams the longer this season goes?
I don't. I think we can outscore teams, but also when we get into a bit of a junkyard fight, I think teams can get a bit of the upper advantage against us. So moving forward, I think we do need to kind of make our defense our vocal point. Like, we've got 60 points between Trez, myself, and KD, but we can't just, hope we outscore players, honestly. So we kind of have to lock in. And the good thing is we play more games come December. I think we play 9 games in like 26 days or something. So it'll be a good test to the group, and I look forward to it. Again, this is only going to make us better. And, yeah, we got to get the defensive rating up because defense wins championships.
So as I was watching all these scoring outbursts over the last few weeks, I thought back to a couple of years ago. We were doing the jump. We were in Australia. Gazy and Copes were there, and you went off for 42 points against the Phoenix. You had 10 threes, and we had you for the post-game interview, and you gave us nothing. We were saying, DJ, well, why did you not keep shooting the ball? Why didn't you go for that 50-piece? And you said it was all about the team. What have you thought as you've watched Golding and then Bateman and now Cotton on the weekend go absolutely berserk?
Yeah, I think I've been in those moments and I've felt what they feel, so I can definitely understand. I've never been close to a 50-piece, even though I could have, like you said. But again, just to see what they've done, especially Bryce. Like, I watched the game on the weekend, and I think there's been a lot of disrespect towards Bryce Cotton in the past few weeks, and not having him as the number 1 player in this league. Derek Rucker talks a lot of trash, and I think he's got a lot of kind of things wrong, especially in his top 15, and not having Bryce as number 1 is the first one. So, yeah, it's just unbelievable to see what he's done. He continues to do, and obviously he said he's got a lot left in the tank. So let's see what team, cops the Bryce Cotton scoring load. Hopefully it's not Adelaide 36ers this week or ever during the year. So that's our main focus.
I am curious from the outside. I've never been in your shoes. I don't need to tell anyone that at home, DJ, but you talk about people like potentially me, that we do our ratings and we do our rankings. I'm curious what motivates you specifically more. It might be something from the outside, or you, as we know you're an elite scorer in this league. You look at Golding, you look at Bateman, you look at Cotton and go, yeah, this is a challenge. This is what we can do as the best scorers in the league. And now I'm going to show everyone, because I felt like there was a little bit of a, hey, don't forget about me from Bryce Cotton.
Yeah, I think, again, all these people talk, and there's no disrespect, obviously. But again, they're just trying to use it for clicks. Like, I think Derek Rucker uses it for clicks because obviously there's no Corey Homicide Williams. He was the one who criticised, but it was always positive. I think he was great at analysing players and pushing them to be better than they are. I think Derek Rucker I'm just not a fan of what he does. So I think that pissed off Bryce Cotton a little bit. And yeah, he went off. But also you see Parker Jackson-Cartwright, I think he had 32 and 10 in that game. So, like, those are 2 great players, top 3 players in this league. So, yeah, people use it as motivation, that's for sure.
All right, last one I've got for you. I think, certainly you guys over the course of the season have been one of the most watched or must-watch teams of the league, if not the best team to watch. And Montrezl has been a big part of that. What don't we know about Montrezl? We see him on the court. He's full of intensity. He's hyping up the crowd. He's doing everything that we do want to see on the court. What's he like around the group at practices?
No, he's great. He's a great leader for this group. He's coming in with the great energy. The one thing people don't know, he's got like 10,000 pairs of shoes, and he doesn't wear the same sneaker twice, I guess. So, a funny story, yesterday he actually FaceTimes me in the morning and asked how I was doing. And he goes, look how many shoes I'm bringing back. And I kid you not, you could feel a 4-bedroom house with the amount of shoes he showed me. So he's probably bringing 20 bags of shoes come this week, so he can kind of wear them, give them out to fans and so forth. So that's one thing people probably don't know.
Yeah, Trez can probably afford the extra $60 for an extra check bag there and chuck a few extra pairs of shoes in there. DJ, look after the hamstring, mate. We want to see you back on the floor soon in this Adelaide team at full strength. It's always great to catch up.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
All right, we've got plenty more still to come on Nothing But Net Aussie Hoops. Next, we're going to look at the top 10 plays of round 10 last week. There were no shortage of highlights. We'll get to that next. Man, it's been a fun show so far tonight. The Bryce Cotton news, I still can't wrap my head around why, if you're the Perth Wildcats, you wouldn't do anything you can to ensure that he is still in front of the Red Army next year in NBL 26. And DJ Vasiljevic, he's an impressive media performer, and we want to see him back on the floor with that dodgy hammy before short time. This is Nothing But Net, getting you set for round 11 in the NBL on ESPN, but not before one look back. And we probably could have just ran a Bryce Cotton highlight reel, but we ain't lazy like that. Here are the top plays of round 10 presented by Hungry Jacks. The burgers are better at Hungry Jacks.
Happy birthday, Sean. Down to 5 seconds on the shot clock. Sean McDonald inside. Got it to go. Sean McDonald.
Would like to see another one of those.
There he is. Right on cue.
All this.
Adams and Oliver in a two-man game with a devastating finish.
That's a grown man dunk right there.
Up with 10 on the clock. He's got the defense at his mercy. He's got the crowd on their feet. And they rise for Bryce once more. He scores. Oh! Tyler Robinson from three-quarter court. That is unbelievable. That is one of the plays of the season.
Where was Will Magnay's block? The refs ruined it. That's why it wasn't in the top 10. Here's what time to watch the games. You already know where to watch them. That would be ESPN. Now, I'm drawn to the Adelaide double with Brisbane and Perth. But speaking of Perth, give me the Wildcats and the Hawks on Friday night. Last time they played, they combined for 218 points, and that was without Bryce Cotton and Trey Cal. Defense might have been optional, but we'll see what they can bring to the table this week. But I already mentioned it. What a fun show it was here tonight. Also, thanks to Olgun Uluc and Ryan Broekhoff. As always, they're here every single week, and we look forward to being back same time next week, Thursday night. This is ESPN, your home for hoops. We'll see you there.